Most people think life insurance agents just knock on doors and sell policies. They have absolutely no idea what actually happens behind the scenes. Because this job, this career, isn't a straight line. It's a series of levels. And each level doesn't just change your income. It changes you, your mindset, your relationships, the way you see people, even the way you see yourself. And most agents never make it past the first two. If you're in this industry, thinking about joining, or you just want to understand how people really build something from nothing, stick with me through this video. Hit subscribe if you want more honest content like this, not because I'm asking you to, but because by the end of this, you'll want to be here for what comes next. What I'm about to walk you through isn't a tutorial. It's not a highlight reel. It's a map. The real one. The one nobody shows you on your first day. 6 levels. 6 versions of the same person, evolving through pressure, failure, and breakthrough. And the wild thing? Everyone starts at the same place, no exceptions. Day 1, you feel it. That electric feeling. Like you finally found something real. The training videos you have been learning and practicing, the people at the top of the leaderboard make it look easy. You write down your goals. You tell your family. You're ready. Then you make your first calls, and nothing happens. Or worse, someone you've known for 10 years tells you they're not interested and hangs up. That's when the confusion sets in. You followed the script. You did what they told you, so why isn't it working? You start questioning the training, then the company, then yourself. Think about John, a guy who joined full of energy, called every friend and family member in his contacts, and heard nothing but polite rejections for 2 straight weeks. He almost quit on a Thursday. Almost. This is where most people quit. Not because the job is impossible, but because nobody told them that confusion is part of it. Rejection isn't a sign that you're failing. It's the price of admission. At this level, you realize effort doesn't guarantee results, but quitting guarantees nothing. The beginner who makes it through isn't the one with the most talent. It's the one who decides that a no doesn't mean never. It means not yet. You're still here. That already puts you ahead of most people who started with you. But surviving isn't thriving. Your bank account is still shaky. You're grinding on leads, showing up to appointments, writing policies that barely cover your own expenses some months. The income is inconsistent. The lifestyle doesn't look like the Instagram posts you have been seeing of others. What changes at this level isn't the hustle, it's the understanding. You start to see that people don't buy insurance. They buy peace of mind. They buy the version of the future where their family doesn't fall apart after they're gone. And the moment you internalize that, everything shifts. This is also when luck plays a role. And I don't mean luck in a passive way. I mean, you stay long enough to meet the right person. A mentor. A manager who's actually been where you are. For John, it was a senior agent who pulled him aside after a team meeting and said, "Stop trying to close people. Start trying to understand them." One sentence, 6 months of clarity. At this level, you realize that people don't buy products. They buy the feeling of safety. Your job is to help them feel it. The survivors who stay aren't the most polished. They're the most coachable. They're willing to be wrong and learn from it. Something clicks. Not overnight. Gradually, then suddenly. You stop winging every appointment. You build a system, a follow-up routine, a way of asking questions that opens doors instead of closing them. Your calendar looks different. Your income starts to smooth out. The panic mode months are fewer. At level 3, you stop thinking week to week and start thinking quarter to quarter. You protect your pipeline. You take weekends without guilt because you've earned it and built it properly. But here's something nobody warns you about at this stage. The people around you start to notice, and not always in a good way. Some of the people you started with are gone. Some are still struggling. And when you show up with energy, with momentum, it can create friction. Not everyone celebrates your growth. At this level, you realize that becoming consistent is more valuable than being occasionally brilliant. The professional isn't flashy, but they show up every week in every season. And that discipline compounds. This is where things get interesting. Because at level 4, you don't just understand the product anymore. You understand people. You understand what they're really scared of, what they're not saying, the hesitation behind, I need to think about it. You've heard every objection so many times that you feel them coming before they arrive. You're not manipulating anyone. You're reading the room. You know when to go quiet. You know when to press forward. You know how to guide a conversation from distrust to decision without the other person even realizing it shifted. Your conversion rate climbs. You start working fewer appointments and closing more. And the quality of your clients gets better because you're now qualifying who you spend your time with. John reached this level when he realized he hadn't just learned the product. He'd learned people. He could walk into a room, listen for 5 minutes, and know exactly what that family was really afraid of. That's not talent. That's reps. At this level, you realize that silence is one of the most powerful tools in a conversation, and most people are too afraid to use it. You don't chase clients anymore. They come to you. At level 5, your phone rings because someone's cousin was a client, or their coworker, or the family they referred 3 years ago just had a baby and thought of you immediately. Referrals aren't a strategy anymore. They're a byproduct of who you've become. Your income is strong. Your reputation precedes you. And yet, this is one of the loneliest levels. Because the higher you climb, the fewer people can actually relate to where you are. The conversations change. The problems change. The things that stress you out now, capacity, scaling, protecting your time, those aren't problems most people in your old circle understand. You become more selective, not cold, just careful. Some relationships quietly fade, not because of drama, just because you're operating in a different space. You surround yourself with people who challenge you, who are where you're going, not where you've been. At this level, you realize that your network isn't just who you know, it's who knows you and why. The elite agent doesn't have more hours in the day. They have better boundaries around the ones they do have. And then there's a ceiling you hit, not a failure ceiling, a growth ceiling. You realize you cannot do more volume alone, so you stop thinking like an agent and start thinking like an architect. You build a team. You duplicate yourself. The new agents sitting across from you now, they remind you of who you were at level 1. Lost, excited, terrified, and now you're the mentor. You're the one conversation that could break the whole thing open for someone else. John is here now. And when a new agent on his team almost quit on a Thursday, just like he almost did, John knew exactly what to say, because he'd lived it. The income changes at this level too. It's not just commission anymore, it's leverage. People working inside systems you built, serving clients you helped train them to find. Your time becomes your most valuable currency, and you invested in people, not just policies. At this level, you realize your ceiling becomes someone else's floor. And that's not a burden. It's a privilege. Not every agent makes it here. Most don't want to, and that's okay. But the ones who do understand something that changed them completely. The game was never just about selling. It was always about building something that outlasts you. Here's what I want you to take from this. Nobody skips these levels. The most successful agents in this industry didn't start at the top. They started exactly where you are, or maybe where you were a year ago. Confused, uncomfortable, making awkward calls to people who didn't pick up. The difference isn't talent, it's time. It's staying in the game long enough to go from beginner to survivor, from survivor to professional, and one day, if you don't quit, from professional to something you never expected to become. Because the real reward in this business isn't the commission check, it's the person you have to become to earn it. So, which level are you at right now? If this video felt real to you, if it hit something, drop a like and subscribe. I make content for people who are actually in the trenches, not just dreaming about it. I'll see you in the next one.